Now come back to this RBI. See, under RBI, we have discussed this concept. What is basically we discuss only from one angle, that is RBI's major function, what is called as monetary policy function. Especially the RBI as controller of credit. Now, from your prelims point of view, very vital information you keep when you try to solve questions. When you try to solve question, or when you prepare, when you plan for any subject, try to understand there will be lot of pair related questions will be there, pairs. In every subject there will be pair question. Now you need to be very clear with pairs and what UPSC does with pair questions. You take the case of history. In history, under Buddhism there are two sects. What are that? Mahayana, then Hinayana. What UPSC do with these two? When a question is being asked regarding Mahayana, they will put the features of. Be very clear. That's why I am telling you, if you know that. So when you study Mahayana, prepare a box and compare and study, so that you be very clear what are the major features of this, what are the major features. Similarly when you go for geography, when the geography teacher will take cyclones, there are temperate cyclone is there, tropical cyclone is there. See their features, compare it. And when you go to any subject, whether it is environment, whether it is polity, whether it is economy, this pair question, if you are clear, it is very easy to answer it. It is very easy to answer. In economy, there are a lot of pairs are there. And one pair is, already I discussed, what is that? Money market, capital market. Another pair is monetary policy, fiscal policy. Monetary policy, fiscal policy. When we discuss balance of payment, current account, capital account, revenue deficit, fiscal deficit. So many things are there, so that if you have a clear cut idea, it will be very easy to answer it. Oh, this is. And similarly, again in this topic, one more is there. In this topic, when we discuss about monetary policy have a pair, what is called as fiscal policy. Monetary policy and fiscal policy. Now try to understand monetary policy. See, fiscal policy we will study in detail under public finance, when we discuss public finance. But just have an idea the relation between monetary policy and fiscal policy. So under monetary policy, who regulate monetary policy? RBI. Fiscal policy is regulated by Ministry of Finance. In monetary policy, all money supply control, or controlling money supply, is the major functions performed by RBI. So in monetary policy, all the instruments which you have studied, or which are used by RBI to control money supply, are the instruments used by RBI for monetary policy. Similarly, in fiscal policy, it is basically deals with the government. See, try to understand when you hear the word public. Public here in economy, it is basically government. Public finance is not your finance, it is the government finance. So when we talk about, so similarly, if we talk about the government public revenue, so the public revenue will be dealt in, who will be managing it? It is the government or the finance minister through its budget. Then expenditure, public expenditure. So revenue, expenditure and debt. Be very clear. will be dealt by the finance minister. From where to raise the fund, that is revenue. From where to spend it, that is expenditure. And once the revenue and expenditure there is a mismatch, the finance minister will borrow. All will constitute the fiscal policy instrument. Monetary policy, everything related with money supply. Now try to understand. Both have to go together. Both have to, monetary policy and fiscal policy have to go together to attain the twin objective of inflation control and economic growth. But in India, what is happening is both go in different direction. Both go in different direction. That's the reason why many of the measures taken by the RBI and finance minister does not produce the resultant exact outcome. So okay, now try to understand, just have this basic idea. Okay, it is basically about demand. See, everything when we talk about economy, it's everything in relation to demand and supply. Everything is in relation to, be very clear, everything is in relation to demand and supply. Now what RBI do? RBI, what it tries to do is, it control the demand. See, by controlling, RBI by controlling money supply, what it is doing is, it is controlling the demand. Now my question is, if the problem is not due to demand, the problem is due to supply constraints. Now imagine a case, poor crop means what will happen to that crop price? Increase. You're getting the point. If there is a poor monsoon, it will affect that agricultural product. Normally the price of that product will increase. Now what the RBI will try to do? If the RBI tried to control the demand by controlling the credit, it will be like a double shocker for the common man. So be very clear, RBI can control inflation only when the inflation is due to excess demand. But if the inflation is due to supply constraint, it's not the RBI but the government through finance minister have to do it. Finance minister have to ensure that there are sufficient. So either he have to import the item which is in shortage, or if the supply constraint is due to, if some people are hoarding the items, you know now, when you hear that certain items is in shortage, the price people will hoard it. So who can ensure that the police will go and raid and release those items? It can be done by the. So just have an idea. We will discuss in detail. When we will discuss inflation. We will discuss in detail, because this supply demand mechanism is very important. What I am trying to do is, for the Indian economy to grow and attain its objective, both have to go together. That is monetary policy and fiscal policy. If both are not inconsistent, if they are not coordinating properly, the required impact will not be seen in our economy. So for your time being, just have an idea. In monetary policy, RBI by controlling credit, what it is trying to do is, it is suppressing demand during inflation time. Or what it is, either it will suppress demand or it will promote demand. How it will promote demand? By easing money supply, or by having an easy money policy, by having a lower interest rate regime. Okay, but if the problem arises mainly due to supply, RBI policy will become a failure. Anything related to demand, RBI can, but again, so we have to find out the problem, whether it is due to supply related problem or demand related problem. If it is supply related problem, the government have to intervene and do it effectively, then the RBI have to support it. Similarly, when the RBI is trying to control the demand, if it is demand related problem, the government have to support it. Just have an idea regarding this fiscal policy and monetary policy. Once you are very clear with what all constitute monetary instrument, what all constitute fiscal policy, you can answer any question. In 2015, they asked a question in relation to monetary policy. Answer that question, question number 1. Which are the components of monetary policy? Bank rate and open market operation. What are the other two? They are fiscal policy instruments. So you need to have a very clear idea. So the UPSC does like this. So this is what I said, that they will put, see, now you are very clear with the monetary policy and fiscal policy. Sometimes what will happen is, you will not have a clear cut idea what all constitute this pair. But you are aware that this feature is not this. You know that this feature is that one else. See, imagine that you are not aware of bank rate. You are not aware of bank rate. But you are aware that public debt is, take the case of public debt or public revenue. See, this is how we have to answer this. Imagine when you are answering this question, you are not aware that bank rate is monetary policy or not. Imagine like this. But when you see the question, by seeing this public debt, you know that public debt is not at all a monetary policy, and public revenue is not at all a monetary policy instrument. What will you do? You see the choice, you eliminate it. So you eliminate choice B and choice D. You eliminate choice B and choice D because you know that this public debt or public revenue is what? It's a fiscal policy instrument. Now from the choice you can derive that first statement is correct. Now you have to find out this open market operation is monetary policy or not. That you know, you will come to an answer. So you try to see, please try to adopt these type of techniques in pair question. In pair question, if you apply, even if you are not aware about the first point, or you will not be aware about the second point also, you will not be aware about the third point also, but the fourth point will help. You are aware that fourth point, you know it, that knowledge is sufficient to solve the question and you got your answer. Normally what you do when you write the test, you see the first statement, I don't know, I will leave this question. I will leave this question, but try to understand why some students are scoring high, why you are scoring low. It's not only about knowledge, it's about knowing UPSC, how UPSC asks question. Once you know how UPSC asks question and how you can crack those questions without too much knowledge, that will help you to increase your score. Your score will improve like anything. So adopt these techniques. So that's the reason why I always tell you that please see the UPSC questions. See the questions and understand how you, and try to solve it with your present knowledge. So once in economy, once you are aware, once your concept is very clear, I'm telling you, you can answer any question. Only requirement is your conceptual clarity. Second is, if you are now reading the newspaper regularly from our group, what will happen? You will be knowing all the major current affairs and you are reading it, and you are not only reading it, at the later point, once our core topics get over, you will understand it also, and that understanding is sufficient to answer the question, and that is sufficient to make, see, your aim should be like this, or my aim is like this. If UPSC asks any question, 90% of the question have to be correct from economic point of view, and that will help you to clear prelims. And for that, have that concept very clear, solve UPSC question, understand in which way I can solve this question, and when you prepare, see that whether there is any, so when we solve certain question, we will discuss. So I will show you so many pair question, in economy. Similarly, you adopt that strategy in your other subjects also, you will get your answer. Adopt in relation to UPSC question.